Welcome to the Health Inquiry. Today, we are going on a journey inside the most powerful supercomputer in the universe, your brain. Think of your brain like a massive, bustling city where tiny messengers are constantly running down secret pathways to deliver notes. Hey, look at that dog, or remember where we put our keys. But as people get older, sometimes those roads in the brain city get blocked up. The notes get lost, the lights go dim, and it becomes hard to remember faces, stories, or how to do everyday tasks. This condition is called dementia, and its most common type is Alzheimer's disease. For a long time, scientists thought that once the brain city started to build up these blocks, there wasn't much anyone could do about it. They figured the disease would just take over. But a study recently published in a top medical journal called JAMA Network Open just changed the game. Scientists in Sweden tracked nearly 2,000 adults for up to 15 years. They discovered that even if someone already has the early warning signs of Alzheimer's building up inside their blood, the food they choose to put on their dinner plate can act like a superhero shield, slowing down the damage and helping them live a longer, healthier, dementia-free life. But here is the most exciting part. When you look closely at the data in the research article, changing your diet might slow down the progression of the disease just as much as, or even better than, some of the newest, most expensive medicines on the market. We are talking about modern treatments like monoclonal antibodies, which cost a fortune and may have scary side effects. Yet, a simple change in what you eat can protect your brain naturally, safely, and for a fraction of the cost. So, what are these secret foods? How do scientists read the warning signs before someone even feels sick? And most importantly, how can you and your family use this science to protect your brains? Meet the secret warning signs, biomarkers. To understand this amazing discovery, we first have to talk about how doctors look inside the brain without opening up a person's skull. They use something called blood-based biomarkers. Think of a biomarker like a smoke alarm or a footprint left behind by a sneaky thief. Even if you can't see a fire, if the smoke alarm goes off, you know something is burning. In the same way, when the brain city starts to experience trouble, it releases specific proteins into the bloodstream. By taking a tiny sample of blood, scientists can spot these proteins and warn someone that they are at risk for dementia years before they actually start forgetting things. In this JAMA Network Open study, researchers looked closely at 3 specific brain warning signs. 1. p-tau217, the Alzheimer's tag. This is a very special protein. When Alzheimer's disease starts setting up camp in the brain, it leaves behind tangled webs. p-tau217 is one of the most accurate blood-based biomarkers in the world for catching early Alzheimer's. Think of it like a red flag flapping right outside a building that needs help. 2. NFL, the cellular tow truck, short for neurofilament light chain. NFL is a protein that escapes into the blood when brain cells get hurt or broken down. If your blood has high levels of NFL, it's like seeing a bunch of tow trucks on a highway. It means there's been a cellular traffic accident somewhere in your nervous system. 3. GFAP, the brain fire alarm. Glial fibrillary acidic protein comes from special cells in your brain called astrocytes. These cells act like the brain's personal paramedics and firefighters. When the brain gets irritated or injured, these cells swell up and go into overdrive, spilling GFAP into your blood. High GFAP means there is a fire of inflammation raging in the brain. Previously, scientists believed that if your blood test showed high levels of these 3 warning signs, it was only a matter of time before dementia set in. But the team of researchers asked an incredible question. Can a super healthy diet act like a shield, protecting people even if their brain fire alarms are already ringing? Diet versus expensive drugs, the real-world comparison. Before we look at what the study discovered, let's talk about why this matters so much right now. Currently, the most talked about new medicines for Alzheimer's disease are called monoclonal antibodies. You might have heard about them on the news. These are advanced, lab-made molecules designed to target a sticky protein in the brain called amyloid beta, or A-beta. The goal of these drugs is to clear out the A-beta plaques to stop the disease from destroying the brain city. While these drugs are an amazing achievement for medical technology, they have some really big downsides in the real world. They are wildly expensive. These treatments can cost upwards of $26,000 every single year, putting them out of reach for millions of families. They can have severe side effects, because they forcefully change things inside the brain. They can cause serious complications, including swelling in the brain or even microbleeds, small amounts of internal bleeding. They require hospital visits. Patients have to go to a clinic to get these drugs put directly into their veins through an IV every few weeks, followed by expensive MRI brain scans to make sure their brains aren't swelling. But the JAMA Network Open paper shows us that nature has given us a tool that works on a completely different, highly effective pathway: our food. Instead of an expensive, risky drug that tries to mop up the damage after a fire has started, eating a high-quality diet targets the root causes of brain decay, like cellular inflammation and damage. It keeps the brain city resilient and strong, offering a level of defense that can keep people living dementia-free for longer, completely naturally, without a single hospital visit or dangerous side effect. The Great Swedish Food Experiment. To prove this, scientists turned to an ongoing study called the Swedish National Study on Aging and Care in Kungsholmen, or SNAC-K for short. The researchers gathered 1,865 older adults who were at least 60 years old and had completely healthy, normal working brains. First, the scientists checked their blood for those three sneaky biomarkers: p-tau 217, NFL, and GFAP. Then, they gave the participants a massive food diary containing 98 different items. The participants recorded exactly what they ate over many years. The scientists checked in on them up to 6 times over a 15-year period to see how their brains were doing and whether they developed dementia. They grouped the participants' eating habits into 3 different healthy diet categories to see which one was the ultimate brain champion. 1. The alternate Mediterranean diet, AMED. This diet is inspired by countries like Italy and Greece. People on this diet eat loads of vegetables, fruits, nuts, whole grains, and fish, while using lots of olive oil. They stay far away from fast food and sugary desserts. 2. The Alternative Healthy Eating Index, AHEI. This diet was designed by heart doctors. It scores foods based on how good they're for your cardiovascular system. It rewards you for eating lots of plant proteins, like beans and nuts, and healthy fats, while penalizing you for eating salty snacks or drinking soda. 3. The Reversed Empirical Dietary Inflammatory Index, rEDII. This diet is all about fighting internal body fires. It focuses specifically on foods that lower inflammation. What is inflammation? Think about when you get a bad mosquito bite. It gets red, warm, puffy, and irritated. That is inflammation on your skin. But did you know your organs and brain can get irritated and puffy on the inside too? A high-inflammatory diet full of fried foods, sugar, and processed meat acts like lighter fluid for internal brain fires. An anti-inflammatory diet, the rEDII pattern, does the exact opposite. It acts like a cool splash of water that calms the fire down. The shocking results: brain fire versus food. After 15 years of tracking these 1,865 people, 240 of them developed dementia. When the scientists crunched the numbers, they found something very interesting. For the people who had low warning signs in their blood, all the healthy diets helped keep their brains sharp. Eating your veggies and keeping your heart healthy worked beautifully. But what about the people who were in high danger? The ones who already had elevated p-tau 217, NFL, and GFAP flowing through their veins? This is where the magic happened. For the high-risk group, the Mediterranean diet and the heart-healthy diet didn't show strong protection against dementia. But the anti-inflammatory diet, rEDII, was a total superhero. High-risk individuals who strictly followed an anti-inflammatory diet lowered their dementia risk by massive amounts. People with high p-tau 217, the Alzheimer's tag, had a 29% lower risk of developing dementia. People with high NFL, the cell damage marker, had a 21% lower risk. People with high GFAP, the brain irritation marker, saw a 27% lower risk. And it gets even better. The researchers found that older adults who had high Alzheimer's biomarkers but ate a highly anti-inflammatory diet lived nearly 1 full year longer without ever getting dementia compared to those who ate inflammatory junk food. That is an extra year of remembering your family, telling jokes, and enjoying your favorite hobbies. Why did this happen? The scientists believe that when your brain is already showing signs of early Alzheimer's or cell damage, Chronic inflammation acts like gasoline on an open flame. If you eat foods that cause inflammation, the disease accelerates. But if you eat foods that stop inflammation, you put out the fire, protecting your brain cells from being destroyed, even if the underlying disease is trying to form. Your Easy Brain Shield Grocery Guide. Now that we know the science, let's talk about how you can use this in real life. You don't need to wait until you are 60 years old to care for your brain. The habits you build right now as a kid, teenager, or adult set the stage for how healthy your brain city will be decades from now. As the authors pointed out, this isn't about finding one magical superfood or a single pill. It's about your overall eating pattern. Let's break down your easy, real-life guide to building an anti-inflammatory brain shield. 1. The green light foods. Eat more of these to cool the brain fire. These are the foods that are packed with vitamins, healthy fats, and special molecules called antioxidants that act like little firefighters for your cells. The berry brigade: blueberries, strawberries, and raspberries. Berries get their beautiful, bright colors from natural compounds called flavonoids. These compounds are famous for traveling up to the brain and turning down the dial on inflammation. Green leafy monsters: spinach, kale, and broccoli. These veggies are loaded with vitamin K and lutein, which help protect brain pathways from wearing down. The nutty professors: walnuts and almonds. Walnuts literally look like tiny human brains. They are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which keep the walls of your brain cells flexible and strong. Fish power: salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Clean, healthy fish are filled with healthy fats that help lower NFL and GFAP levels by preventing brain cell injury. The whole grain gang: oatmeal, brown rice, whole wheat bread, instead of white bread or sugary cereals that cause your blood sugar to spike and trigger inflammation. Whole grains digest slowly and keep your body calm. 2. The red light foods. Slow down. These fan the flames of inflammation. These are foods that trigger your immune system to release those angry inflammatory chemicals that can irritate your astrocytes and neurons. Liquid sugar, soda, sweet tea, and energy drinks. Drinking heavy amounts of refined sugar causes an immediate inflammatory spike throughout your whole body. Processed meats: hot dogs, fast food burgers, and bacon. These meats are heavily treated with salts and chemicals that can irritate your cardiovascular system and block the roads to your brain city. Deep-fried snacks: potato chips and French fries. Foods cooked in heavily recycled oils create molecules that trigger internal stress in your cells. Try the one-for-one swap with your family this week. Instead of reaching for a bag of chips after school, grab a handful of walnuts and blueberries. Instead of drinking a soda with dinner, try sparkling water with a splash of real fruit juice. These tiny shifts add up to massive protection over time. The big takeaway. What is the ultimate lesson from this incredible 15-year study? It's a message of profound hope. For a long time, people looked at Alzheimer's disease and dementia as things entirely driven by genetics, bad luck, or highly expensive medical interventions. We thought that once the biological alarm bells started ringing, our only option was to hope for a multi-thousand-dollar pharmaceutical miracle that might carry serious side effects. But now, the solid science inside the JAMA Network Open paper has shown us that your choices matter. You have massive power over your own health. Even if someone has a high biological risk, eating a high-quality, anti-inflammatory diet can dramatically change the path of their disease, delaying dementia, protecting their memories, and buying precious time to spend with the people they love. Taking care of your brain city isn't just about studying for exams or playing puzzle games. It starts at the grocery store, in the kitchen, and at the dinner table. Talk to your parents, your grandmas, and your grandpas about this science. Together, you can build a delicious brain shield that keeps your minds bright and healthy for a lifetime. Thank you so much for watching the Health Inquiry. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and share it with someone you care about. Stay curious, eat smart, and we'll see you in the next video.